Hey guys, so here is your math packet for the week of November 16th to the 20th. It's really due when you come back on Monday, okay? Okay, so here is Monday's math work. Okay, you're going to be doing 2 by 2 multiplication, rounding decimals, digit values, adding and subtracting numbers. Okay? Now, the very important part of multiplication not only is knowing your facts, but it's keeping everything lined up. Everything. Okay? Now, we don't have any grids here. You won't have grids on most test papers. We've just been doing that to help you out a little bit. So, what we're going to do is we're going to very carefully work the first 4. And when I say carefully, that means we're going to keep everything lined up. All right? Okay, let's go. Okay, remember, every time we do multiplication, you always start in the ones place, no matter what. All right? I have 7 times 5. 7 times 5 is 35. Okay, 35 is a 2-digit number, and I can't do that. I will show you why. When you have your place value, let me get a pen. Here we go. When we have our place value, we have our ones place, we have our tens place, hundreds, and so forth. Now, the reason why you're not allowed to put that 35 like in the whole ones thing underneath there is because you can only have 9 ones in the ones place. That's the max number is 9. Okay? The max number is 9. The minimum number is 1. Now, because we have 35, okay, we have this 9 right here. Remember, we can only do 9. So, for 35, we have 1 rod of 10, 2 rods of 10, 3 rods of 10, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is what this problem looks like. 35. Now remember, I can only keep the singles over here. I can't keep any rods in the ones place. So what happens is these 3 rods get kicked up to the tens place. So you have 1, 2, 3 rods up here. And then when you just multiply, you add those 3 rods to the total. That is why you can't put the 35 in the ones place. That's also why we've had some people, see, again, you go like 55, 87. Okay. If you were to, I'm going to do like a little line here just to show you. Your 5 goes here because you have the 5 ones and you kick the 3 tens up. That's how that works. But we've had some people who actually, and this is normal, we just have to work through it. They'll put the 3 here and kick up the 5. See, the problem here is those are 3 rods. And remember, we can't have rods here. We can only have the individual unicubes. So the rods get kicked up. Okay? So you always put the ones number in the one spot. That's what that means when you regroup. Okay? I cannot have any rods over here. And just like in the tens place, I can only have 9 rods. I can't have any flats or sheets. Those numbers go over here. So I didn't do that to confuse you. I'm just trying to explain, because we're still having problems with this, why this number, the number in the tens place, gets kicked over to regroup. That's when I say kick it up, kick it over, that's what I'm meaning. I'm just meaning kick the 10 number up. because the units stay over here and the rods get kicked up. Okay? So 5 times 7 is 35. So I'm going to put the 5 here, and I'm going to kick up the 3. Now, I just do just like I did before. 7 times 5 is 35, plus 3 is 38. So I'm going to put the 8 underneath there, and then the 3 over here, because I want to keep everything lined up. This is not, let me zoom it. That's a little better. Okay. So everything is lined up nice and neat. The ones is under the ones place, the tens are tens, and the hundreds out here by itself because it's special. Now, let's go ahead and we put that 0 right here because we always do, because we're starting in the tens place. Now, I'm going to go ahead and mark off this 3 because I'm done using it. And I'm going to start my next problem, or next thing, which is 8 times 5. 8 times 5 is 40. So I'm going to put the 0 here and kick up the 4. Okay. Now 8 times 5 is 40, plus 4 is 44. So 4, 4. Now I add 5, 8, 3 and 4 is 7, 4. Now see, everything is lined up nice and neat. We're not crooked. We're not going sideways. We are nice and neat. All right, please also remember to put that comma in after every third number like that. Okay, also, if you noticed, when I write my numbers, and I've had kids ask me this in the past, when I say 44, you notice I wrote this 4 first before I wrote that 4. That's just because I can keep everything lined up neat. That's why I do that. All right, so I have 56 times 16. Starting all over again from scratch. Okay? 6 times 6 is 36. So I put my 6 down here and kick up my 3. Just like we did before. 6 times 5 is 30. Plus 3 is 33. All right, now I'm going over to the tens place, so I have to put that 0 underneath the ones place. And then since I'm just multiplying by 1, I can just go 56. And now I'm going to add. 6 plus 0 is 6. 3 plus 6 is 9. 3 plus 5 is 8. Circle. There we go. See, multiplication is all about doing things over. It's like your procedure. Do the procedure over and over and over again. But procedures can be made easier if you know your facts. All right. So I have 29 times 75. If you know me at all, you know I hate when the little number's on top. I like it when the big number's on top, but I digress. Okay, so I have 5 times 9 is 45. So I have my 5 here, kick up my 4. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 4 is 14. Okay, I'm going to work with my tens place. So I'm put a 0 here. 7 times 9 is 63. So I'm going to put my 3 here, kick up my 6. And then 7 times 2 is 14, plus 6 is 20. Okay, 5, 7, 1, 2. All right, next one is 34 times 91. I don't think we can get much easier than 1 times a number, unless it's 0. But anyway, 1 times 1 is 4. 1 times 3 is 3. Okay, remember put that 0 down, because now we're going over here working with the 9. 9 times 4 is 36. So I put my 6 here, kick up my 3. 9 times 3 is 27. Plus 3 is 30. And just add 4, 9, 30. All right. Now, I need you to do the rest of these. There's 12 of them. Okay? Just pace yourself. You'll be fine. Make sure you circle your answers. Now, you can either pause it right here or continue watching to see what the rest of the assignment is for today. It's up to you. So, the next one, we are rounding decimals. And this is going to take a refresher. We haven't been doing this in a while. The very first thing I would do is highlight or underline what you're rounding to or with. Like right here, we're rounding to the nearest tenth, nearest hundredths. Okay, so I'm going to do the vowels. A, E, I. Oops, I don't have an O. All right, so we're rounding to the nearest tenth. So the very first thing you need to do is underline the 10th digit. Underline the number that's in the 10th place, okay? So for 2 and 54 hundredths, that would be the 5. For 12 and 63 hundredths, that would be the 6. For 7 and 59 hundredths, that would be the 5. So if you haven't guessed it, the 10th place is right after the decimal. Now, the next thing we have to do is we have to look to the number in the hundredths place. Now remember, if that number is 5 or more, you raise the score. That means the number bumps up. If it's 4 or less, it stays the same. Nothing happens to it. Okay? So you have 2 and 54 hundredths. So we have the 5 that we're rounding to, and I'm going to look to the 4. So 4 or less, that stays the same. And then that 4 turns into a 0. So 2 and 54 hundredths rounded to the nearest tenth is equal to 2 and 50 hundredths. 2 and 50 hundredths. Okay, 12 and 63 hundredths. The 6 is what we're rounding. We got to look to the neighbor, which is a 3. 3 is less than 4, so the 6 stays. So you get 12 and 60 hundredths. All right, I have 7 and 59 hundredths. So I have the 5 is what we're rounding. The 9 is what we're looking at. 9 is greater than 5. So I don't know how you look at it. The 5 goes away, and it turns into a 6 because you were rounding up. It's kind of, if you remember the whole number line deal, if this was, like you have 7.50, and this would be 7.60. This is 7.55. The 7.9 or the 7.59 will be right here. And of course, it's going to be closer to 60 than it is 50. So that's what we're looking at, okay? Okay, next is the hundredths. Once again, I'll do the vowels. Okay, so very first thing you need to do right here is go through and underline the numbers in the hundredths place. Tenths, hundredths, thousandths. That's the 5. Tenths, hundredths. Tenths, hundredths. And that means we're going to look at the neighbor, which is in the thousandths place. Remember, if the number is greater than 5, then the number we're rounding gets to go up. So we're rounding with 5. Look to the neighbor, which is 6. 6 is more than 5, so this 5 gets to go to a 6. Okay, I have 7 and 843 thousandths. We're rounding the 4, so I'll look to the 3. 3 is less than 4, so the 4 doesn't get to go anywhere. So it gets to stay the 4. All right, I have 6 and 428 thousandths. Okay, we're rounding the 2. Look to the 8. 8 is greater than 5. 2 turns into a 3. All right, so you have to do the rest of this. That's 14, take away 3. You have 11 problems you have to do, so 22 total. All right. Next. Digit value. What's the value of the underlying digit? Oh, well, you just tell me the value of it. Look right here. What's the value of the 9? Just 90,000. The value of the 1 is 1. So that's all you have to do, okay? Then right here, it says in the number above, which is 456,802, which digit has the greatest value? Well, the 4, because it's 400 thousandths. So you'd put the 4. Now, if the 4 has the greatest value, which one has the least value? The 2. Well, no, wait. Which digit would be 0? Yeah, it'd be the 0. Because it's a 0, right? Oy vey. No. No, it's the 2. Sorry. Do the rest of these. Okay. And then adding and subtracting. I should not have to remind you how to add and subtract. But I'll look. So when we add, remember, keep everything lined up nice and neat. 6 plus 6 is 12. Put the 2, kick up the 1. 7 plus 8 is 15, plus 1 is 16. 3 plus 4 is 7, plus 1 is 8. 7 plus 4 is 11. 8 plus 7 is 15, plus 1 is 16. Just like that, okay? Subtraction. You have to borrow on these. So I'm going to do these with the zeros just to give you a little bit of leeway, okay? Now, I can take 1 from 7 because that gives me 6. But I cannot take away 9 from 0. I can't. So that means I have to go to the neighbor. So that means instead of taking away from the 0, I'm actually taking away from the 30. And the 30 turns into 29. 9 from 9 is 0. Unfortunately, I cannot take 3 away from 2. I have to borrow from the 8. 12 minus 3 is 9. 7. Wait. That's not, wait. Pause it. Okay, so this is 7, 9. That's right. Why's that not coming out right? Because you borrow from that. 1 second. I made a goof. Do not pay. I always pay more attention over here to this problem. Okay, so I have 8307 minus 739. I apologize. I was getting ahead of myself. I was paying attention to these two problems. Okay, so 1 from 7 is 6. I cannot take 9 from 0, so I borrow from this one. This is where I got messed up. I missed it by 10. Okay, my bad. But I do know what I'm talking about up here. All right, so with 6,200 minus 3457, you cannot take 7 away from 0. And this one right here is also 0. That's when we have to borrow from the 20. And this turns into a 10. So 7 from 10 is 3. 5 from 9 is 4. I cannot take 4 away from 1, so I have to borrow. Turns into 7 and 2. So that's 10, 10, 12. Yeah, okay, that's right. So 2,743. Okay. I'm going to do one more. And then you're on your own, okay? I can now take 9 away from 5. But my next two numbers are zeros. I just got to use the whole thing. Turns into 899. And then the 1. 9 from 15 is 6. 5 from 9 is 4. 6 from 9 is 3. 4 from 8 is 4. That's all you got to do. All right, after that, you have a drill sheet. And that's it for Monday. I hope you all have a great day, and I'll talk to you later.